Hey yo, what up guys? Today I'm gonna be telling you about how I shot this photo and then edit it to look like this one. Lego! So just for context, I'm an amateur photographer and the picture you're seeing today is basically from my first photo shoot back last October. And I'm also amateur at doing all of this. If I'm reading off my script today, so you know, please be gentle. And the photo I took was basically directly inspired by the photo I saw on Instagram from North Borders. I saw it and I thought it was pretty awesome, so essentially I want to copy it, you know, for learning purposes. Because I do genuinely think that learning something by copying is actually quite effective. And yeah, so we did just that. We bought an umbrella, we went out to the woods, we saw like a stump in the middle of the wood and I thought it was gonna be nice for someone to sit on it and basically pose right there. We put leaves in our umbrella and then flip it and then sadly I don't have any footage of us actually filming because again this was last October and back then I did not even think about doing something like this. But it also wasn't that difficult of a shoot either. I think you get the point. You pile up a bunch of leaves in the umbrella and then flip it and then you burst, you know, on your camera. It took us around 4 or 5 tries, I believe, and then we got what we wanted and then we moved on. So it's quite easy and it looks quite nice, so try it. The two editing apps I use are Lightroom and Photoshop. I think you can use any kind of Lightroom. I didn't use the classic one, I used the new one on the computer, but I think you can also just edit it on your phone with the Lightroom. You know, it's quite basic edit. I'll go through it with you. So pick whatever you want. So my thought process going into this photo, basically I want to create a fall red autumn kind of vibe, meaning that I want to remove all the green out of the photo. So the first thing I did was I went into the hue thing where you can change the color and I removed the saturation of the green. For yellow and orange hue, I basically pushed them all the way to red. And lastly, for the pink hoodie shirt, I tried to desaturate it to white because it's kind of distracting. And that was pretty much it for the color. Other than that, for the exposure, I tried to make the subject glow a little more and then de-expose the borders and everything like that. Drop the shadows, highlights, whites, and add some texture. And then later on when I was playing around with the specific selection tool, I was messing around with the color temperature. I turned warmth max to the absolute max and it turned out surprisingly well. This happened because I turned the saturation down of the selection all the way to 0 while turning the warmth max to 100. You know, it was an accident, but that's basically how I edit. I just go in with the slider of everything and slide it back and forth and see what it looks like. And kaboom! And that was pretty much it for Lightroom. Usually I use Lightroom to kind of edit the picture into the mood that I kind of want, and then in Photoshop I made it look extra special with, you know, pop-in effects and some manipulation. And yeah. And jumping into Photoshop, the first thing I did was pretty much brush tool, black 80%, and then painted over the face of the talent to kind of hide it. It was nothing fancy, just a black brush. And then I added extra leaves by duplicating the already existing one to make it look more balanced in the overall picture because the top part was kind of missing some leaves there, so I, you know, and then kaboom! That's how I explain things. And lastly, because I want the overall image to look a little bit more vibrant and orange, you know, I need to stop. I added some extra saturations in Photoshop and then changed the hue a little bit to make it a little bit more bright orange red. And kaboom! There you go, the final picture. Apologies for the lackluster explanation. As I'm also an amateur, this is less of a tutorial than me just explaining my thought process and the experience of creating the image. So, you know, I hope you might get something out of it. I must say I'm very proud of the result. I did not expect it to turn out this well for my first photo shoot, so, you know, I pat myself in the back. And from now on, I'll be making this kind of vid more and more just for me to practice. If you like it, stick around. Hey! Bye! Basically,